There you go. Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Did Cole Wright ever get online by chance?
I'm here.
Okay, just making sure because he said he wasn't sure.
Yep, we got him.
Perfect. Will everyone stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I believe that moves us to the superintendent highlights.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I have a few superintendent highlights that we're going to cover, but most of it I added as an attachment into the superintendent's report, which was kind of a review from the last year from 2024, 2025. There's a link to it at the top here. Oh, but I attached it, so you don't need it. Webpage, I wanted to quickly address two things. We've got our webpage being updated right now. It should be done August 7th as we roll over into a new site. It's part of our opportunities to try to clean it up a little bit. We've got like 4, 5, 6 clicks to find information. We're going to try to get that down to where everything's a little bit more user-friendly and easier to find information on there. It also gives us a perfect opportunity to kind of clean it up, get it organized so that it's operating and running a little bit better. Also at this time, I want to introduce Kayla McDonald. She's joining us. She's our communications coordinator. So thank you, Kayla. We are, so Kelly and I have kind of done our best this last year, but now we've got someone that's going to come in and help us just to make sure that our communication goes out and we're a little bit more timely and it's a little more accurate and we're staying on top of it across all of our school districts. So we're excited to have her with us to help her with that project. I wanted to go back last month. I was playing a little bit of catch up because coming back from vacation. We had Teacher of the Year nominees, and Tracy DeCore Burton was the Teacher of the Year for the school district. But I also wanted to make mention of the other folks that were nominated. Chelsea Porter was from Sage is the Chamber Teacher of the Year. So we're actually going to recognize too. We had a really nice conversation with the Chamber about being able to promote our good teachers doing really good work. But we also had Kathy Perkins from Walnut, Ashley Simmons from the high school, and Ashley Barnum from Sage. They're also nominated for Teacher of the Year. And I felt that it was appropriate to recognize them all because they were recognized by their peers. And I think that's something special that needs to be done. We're also going to be doing something with them in August when we all come back together as a whole. We've got Desert View just about completed. We've got furniture that's ordered and on its way. So that's going to be coming forward. And I apologize for those that have been trying to reach out to me. I've been gone. I was over at the Idaho National Laboratories for Monday, and I just got back just a little bit ago from the National Laboratories. I was over there with some commissioners and the mayor and some council members listening to the folks around the nuclear plant and some potential opportunities that may be coming this way. So I went as a representative from the school district. Beautiful drive over, but it's a little bit of a drive. So with that, we have no updates on enrollment. It's July, so we're waiting for all of our registrations to come through for our new incoming kindergartners, and then we'll have more enrollment information as we start for the beginning of the year. So thank you. I'll save the rest for the superintendent's report or the highlights.
Okay, so I believe that brings us to board reports and/or subcommittee information. I'll start off with just stating that one of the things that has been brought up to this board, or has brought up by this board, and then something that I've spoke with Ms. Bolton about, along with how to proceed with the policy regarding electronics, and that shall versus may when it comes down to bringing the electronics home. And I do believe that we are going to make that shift from a shall to a may based off of those discussions as well. So that is something that we will be seeing rather quickly in regards to that. Does anyone else have anything?
Hey, Danielle.
Hi, I just came out of the recreation subcommittee just prior to this meeting, actually. Things are moving forward, doing well. Some maintenance of multiple facilities and expansion on playground equipment at Stagecoach was also in there. Overall, it's a relatively quiet committee right now because the rec board is trying to conserve some money because of the new high school and the rec board actually having to provide a fairly large sum of that money to do some of those enhancements like we've talked about in the past. So we're doing those ones. Update on the health or the food insecurities committee. We've run into a snag because we ran into summer and some of the people that we need to have meetings with
aren't here during that time. We've had meetings with them going over some of our limitation or what our current available options are and things like that. But we're still pushing to see what we can do as a district to combine all those things into a more cohesive group so that we can do a better job of helping all students. Unfortunately, we're just kind of in limbo until we get closer to more of our stakeholders coming back into the district, because they're rightfully so on summer vacation, and I don't know that they want to just be pulled into more meetings. So as we get closer to that, we will have more, and hopefully we can move quickly. I believe that's all for me.
Madam Chair, I apologize. I didn't look further down into the agenda, and there is no superintendent report. So if you wouldn't mind, I attached the celebrations PDF. If I could just talk about that a little bit.
Please, go ahead.
Absolutely, thank you. So on your in your agenda, so at the end of the school year, we had a principals meeting, building representation, district level leading meeting, and district members. And at the end of the school year, we kind of had a culminating event where we put posters up around the room and asked a few questions around what was great this year, like what really worked, what didn't, what were some of our challenges, what do we see as our challenges moving forward. So the attachment that you have onto your form, and that's also on the board docs, is the information that came back from the building administrators and the leadership across the district around some of the items that were up on the top. So you notice that each of them has a title at the top. One of them is like, what were your why not moments for the school year? And there's some of these are posted in here, the highlights that came from some of the schools. Some were pursuing higher education, launching initiative programs like the Literacy Lab, the Beyond textbooks, the Freshman Academy, reopening of Washington Elementary and revitalizing that building for the community coming up. Greater impact on experiences around job shadowing and the RIDE program, having our high school outreach to the elementaries into the junior highs, along with some expansion of programs and experiences like our junior high soccer program to help assist and support the high school program. Then prioritizing leadership was one, creating, hiring great people, holding people accountable for clear direction, cultivating culture around our kindness garden, the Kagan Push, Lowell, and our first day of school activities where we had the high schoolers and the athletes and the folks involved in like honor society and student council out. And then managing our operations, working on our staffing, our budgeting, and our program. And then some of the most joyful accomplishments that were identified, Black Butte's senior graduation is, I'm not surprised that it is there, but if you ever have an opportunity to go and be a part of that program, it's an absolutely fantastic program to be there. Improved behavior and academic growth, increased literacy, student-teacher relationships and morale, the career fair, PBIS celebrations department, cohesion, community health fair was brought up, love for learning, attendance and genuine improvement in school culture. The completion of Desert View jumped on there too. The Desert View is excited about going home. Then we had proud district highlights that were identified. The instructional leadership at the forefront with our administrative building walks and our administrative mentoring, the student-centered and empowering the leadership to lead in their buildings and be instructional leaders, the continued upward growth and resiliency and innovation. What else we have? The encouragement through our site visits, cultivating accountability and thinking outside the box continuously. Strong support from school board trustees. Had multiple marks next to it that folks have really felt supported and listened to this school year. Started communications in the correspondence page for monthly communication with members, and our Sweetwater Superstars comment, which is the little click at the bottom of the emails where you can leave a comment for someone across the district who's doing a good job. And then some special recognitions. We had the National School of Kindness that were for Pilot Butte and Eastside. FES feels as though they crushed the Y-top. We don't have our scores back yet, but knock on wood, we've done well. Junior high, having students first, Black Butte Innovative Teaching, SAGE, Ron Clark Academy, Student Meals Program. We had Reteach and Enrichment at Desert View. Overland in the high school was the curriculum creativity and the assessment pieces that came through. And then some challenges to overcome. We're navigating through some administrative changes at the beginning of the school year and some staff shortages with some subs. So we've been working on trying to get those under control and get more people here into the district. Some strengthening of our communication and rebuilding some trust across the district, not only with teachers and building staff, but from the district and through the community. Tackling rumors, negativity, shifting community dynamics, launching new programs like the Early Head Start, CTE Academy, Literacy Labs, Innovations. Really focusing on our shifting of our mindset, our mindset, and embracing that why not, that rise up attitude about taking a different opportunity to look at resolving and working with others. And then the reinvigoration of our PLC process to increase some face-to-face connections across the board and really pushing folks out to, instead of emailing or calling, to go and have face-to-face conversations to work with people. And then some favorite moments, field day was one of the top hitters. The touch the truck across the street, the bubble run, the Royal Ball across the street. And then we had the senior walk in the elementaries and the graduation, the barbecue, our football games, the first day energy with the kids being out. Something that we did at the district level was everybody choosing a walkout song. Donkey basketball made it on here. School board members, walkthroughs at the schools was much appreciated, and meaningful time in staff and student engagement. Some one words for the future. Well, these aren't one words, but yeah, not following instructions. Like what do you carry forward were some of those pieces, and some of the words were like progress, grace, hope, rise, grit, unity, kindness, teamwork. And then some of the phrases that came out of it was we are rising together stronger and more connected. I think some of those final thoughts that when we just asked people to kind of wrap it up was together through challenges and growth, we've transformed mindset into momentum, and then carrying that forward into this next year with kindness, courage, and collaboration. So those are just some of the things that not myself, but the district leadership and the building leadership came together and said, hey, here's the things that we're really proud of, and then kind of set the stage for some of those things that we can continue working on as we move forward. So I wanted to push those out. I would have done it at the last one in June to kind of finish off the year, but time got tight, so I wanted to make sure that I could share this so as we move into the next school year that we're starting off on the right foot. So thank you. I apologize for the time.
Does anyone else have anything else to report? Oh, Cole, I believe you want to talk. Mr. Wright.
Madam Chair, can you hear me?
No.
Very quiet. Okay.
Send them out here.
I don't know how to adjust my microphone. Is that any better? If you guys can't hear me, we can move forward. Can you guys hear me? It's okay. Go ahead and move forward if you.
Yeah, Mr. Wright, you're relatively muffled. I don't think anyone can hear you right now. Anyone?
It's okay. Go ahead and move on.
One moment, we're going to see if we can. Steph's going to see if we can connect you to the speakers here. Try it now.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, there we go. We got you.
Okay. Hey, I just wanted to relay a few dates if the trustees could jot these down. I just attended the WSBA area directors meeting this last Friday and Saturday. So there is the upcoming law conference, August 7th and 8th at UW. If you're able to attend, it'd be great to have one of our trustees there. We also have the fall roundup. It's August 26th, and it will be at 5 o'clock in Pinedale. I believe that's a Tuesday, but it would be to get together with some of the other area boards. And Dr. Libby, if you're not already aware, you're invited to that as well. Then just looking ahead a little bit, the WSBA annual conference is November 19th through the 21st. Those who attended last year, it was a really good learning opportunity and a really good team building time. So if you're able to set that aside, that would be great. And then just a few other things, keep your eye out. I'll be distributing the preliminary advocate agenda from WSBA, and that's kind of just the things they want feedback on to advocate in support of what local districts want at a higher level. So I will send that out, and if you have any feedback, please let me know. And then another thing they wanted to pass on is some nominations for awards. These are state level awards. There's a Golden Bell Award, a Champion of Education Award, and an Outstanding Service Award. I'll pass along what those requirements are, but if you have somebody in mind, we would like to get those submitted in a reasonable time. And last is I'd like to have a workshop in August. Further details to come, but please try to plan accordingly in your schedule for that as well. That's all I have. Thanks.
So Cole, you don't have a date for August workshop?
It would be just before the board meeting,
Okay, all right.
5 o'clock.
Thanks.
Okay, any further comment or reports? Then I believe we can move on to roll call.
Mrs. Wood, Mrs. Schumacher,
Present.
Mr. Franks, Mr. Gardner,
Present.
Mr. Seppi,
Here.
Mr. Sorensen,
Here.
Chair Wright.
Here.
And then we need to get approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion for that?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any opposed? Okay.
All those in favor?
Oh, sorry. All those in favor? I meant that.
Well, no one opposes it.
You're right. Nobody opposes either. Same thing. Okay, so then we'll approve that. And then at this time, I believe we're going to suspend the board meeting and open it up to public hearing. And we have to do a motion for that, correct? Okay, so can we get a motion
So
for that
moved.
as well? All right, second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Right.
any opposed? Okay, then I believe we can suspend and move on to the public hearing. With that, we have the 2025 and 2026 budget.
There we
I
go.
was like,
Okay.
looking, trying to understand. Okay, I have the fiscal year 2026 budget to present to you guys today. I'll kind of walk you through it, but Christian, if you want to pull up my attachment, we can kind of start there. That is not enough time. Quickest budget presentation you guys have ever sat through. Okay, while he's pulling it up, I can start my intro. So the fiscal year 2026 budget, this is of course for the period July 1, 2025 through 6/30/2026. It's built off of the prelim budget. So this is now just the full picture instead of what you were seeing before, which was a quick summary in the prelim budget. So we build this off of the prelim budget, of course, and our methodology in building it. I know I've mentioned it every time I've been up here, but I'll keep saying it. We use historical cost, projection, and judgment, or a combination of the three to get the most accurate numbers. And we tweak it as necessary from prelim to get more accurate figures as more information comes on and as more information becomes available throughout the year. But this is, of course, built off the prelim budget, which was approved by the board in May. So one thing to note as I'm going through and presenting this, I'm going to be mentioning page numbers to Christian to help him navigate so I can show you. I'm going to be jumping around quite a bit because it's a long report. But I'm referring to the PDF page number. So if you're looking on paper, the easiest way to follow along is not going to be to listen to my page numbers, but just to refer to what's on the screen so you know you're on the same page. There were 2 small errors, just typos, but I corrected them on all of the paper copies, and it's of course corrected on the version that we're presenting to you digitally today. So some key things I want you guys to keep in mind as I'm going through this. We have decreased revenue in the current year. This is because ADMs are down. Of course, as we know, there's a lot of uncertainty right now related to federal funds. We also got a lower county assessment for the current year. This is normal. We knew that was going to happen. We've been budgeting for it. But just so you're aware, those are coming into play specifically with the revenues. When it comes to expenditures, something you're going to want to keep in mind is that prior year expenditures were significantly over budgeted. So some of the large differences that you're going to see year over year is because of this. So our approach in drafting this budget is to be conservative, and that's something I want to make sure is emphasized. We always err on the side of caution. Of course, we're a government organization, local school district. We never want to present you with something that's unrealistic. So we are conservative, and we make sure that we use our best estimates at this time. Of course, these are still subject to change, and things will change as the year progresses, but this is our best guess right now. So I'll jump straight into the numbers. If you want to go to page 12. So, I think if you just go, sorry, Christian, if you go to PDF page 12, like at the very, very top, okay, that'll get us there. Awesome. So these are really like all of these reports in that format. That's going to be your bulk of information, the meat and potatoes of this budget book. So everything in the spreadsheets that look like what's on the screen right now, all of those numbers come together, and the rest of the report is just information based around those numbers. So we can see here that we have columns for fiscal year 24, 25, and 26. And then on the left, it's broken out between revenue and expenditures. It's broken out by revenue code. Of course, this is stipulated by WDE. So we follow all of the standards that they set. And of course, generally accepted accounting principles on all of the funds except general fund and student activity. The revenues will match the expenditures. I'm going to go through each of these just briefly one by one. So first we start here with major maintenance. And then next, if you scroll on, is the special revenue fund, which includes grants and Head Start. Then we continue on and it goes to grants by program, followed by rec board, followed by debt service. On the debt service, it's of course zero because we don't need any financing. Luckily, When there is question, we have enough cash reserves to use them, and we're not anticipating the need for debt financing anytime soon, especially not during this year, but that's something to keep in mind. So we still list debt service even though the balances are zero. Then it's followed by capital projects, district projects, capital construction. Those two are also zero, but same situation. We still present them even if the balances are zero. Then we move on to the insurance fund, food service fund, which includes the FFVP grant, other enterprise funds, which is our summer programs. In those, we have driver's ed only for the current upcoming year. And then we end with student activity. So if you want to go back, Christian, to page 10, thank you so much. So on the general fund, I'll obviously discuss more about that and call out some key areas. So just a reminder that the general fund consists of schools and services, departments, salaries, benefits, health insurance, fixed costs. That's primarily what makes up the general fund. For the current year budget, we have total revenues exceeding total expenditures by a slight amount. But like I just mentioned, our plan is to use cash reserves if necessary to cover the difference. We'll obviously see how the year pans out. Maybe we won't need to do that. Maybe our expenditures are going to be low enough that we won't have to use that. But we obviously want to get that on your radar just in case we do and hope for the best as the year progresses. So even with the budget amount of use in the cash reserve, I do want everybody to note that it's significantly lower than what's been budgeted for use out of the cash reserve in prior years. And in prior years, the full amount wasn't necessary to use either. Of course, there's always room for adjustment, and if we need to make changes, we will. But as far as looking into the cash reserve and understanding the cash balances, the easiest places to look are going to be this report here for general fund, then the following page, which details all of our cash reserves in more detail, and you can see the exact balances from prior year too. But the other thing that's really, really useful and maybe the most useful for interpreting cash reserves is the very last page of this budget book, where we have a breakdown of what's going on with them. So if you're having any questions, refer to those places. Okay, then next, if you go to page 42, Christian, this is just the general fund detail, and it's revenue all the way through page 45. Then when we get to pages 46 and 47, it's the general fund expenditures detail. So that information is already presented on page 10, but this actually breaks it out between revenue and expenditures and gives you more detail as to what's playing into all of those numbers, and you can get a better idea of where the money is going in general fund by examining these pages. So that is the budget book in a nutshell. I think that that's the easiest way to understand the information that I'm presenting you with today. Thank you all for your time. Is there any questions? Yeah.
I'm just looking at and I have no idea what page this is. It's in your budget details. You'd said that we were having our reduction in there, but under our 6 mil county tax, I show our proposed revenues are increasing by almost $4.5 million. How is,
you give me a number that you're looking
that
at?
is page 29 is in what I show in the book. And I'm novice at this, so if I've screwed it up, please write me.
You're good. Could I just get the exact number you're looking at?
It is, the proposed revenue is $13,898,255. Line 3, 6
Okay.
mil county tax.
Thank you. I'm on the same page now. Okay. I would have to look into what exactly goes into these numbers because we have a lot of things that we record everything, then we run reports and we grab the totals. So offhand, I'm not entirely sure what makes up all of these balances, and I would have to look into the detail. But I can tell you what I'm presenting, I believe to be most accurate, so I can get you further detail.
I was just looking at it because we had anticipated a 25% reduction in our local revenues, and our county evaluation just went down. But then we're showing
That is true.
an increase of a significant sum. So I'm just trying to figure out where. And like I said, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just trying to understand.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, unfortunately, without the detail in front of me, I can't answer right now. What I will say regarding the county revenue and revenue as a whole decreasing, just because county revenue is decreasing doesn't mean that everywhere is going to decrease. So I'll have to look into this further to get you an answer.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm honestly just asking because
Yeah.
unlike Josh, I am not a numbers financial guy. So he is much more into this than I am. So I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, I'll shoot you an email and let you know. Does anybody else have any questions?
I do. I think page 26 is where the difference is you're asking about, and that there's some challenges in there where the 25 mil goes down a bunch, the 6 mil goes up a bunch, and the other local revenues goes up by 1,000%. So there's probably just somewhere in those numbers, the way it's coded. We'll need to find out a little more.
Well, what could be happening is if we're presenting it differently in the current year than we did last year, and we're just not aware of that.
Yep.
That could be the case. We could have run the report differently, and that could be the reason that these differences are popping off. But what I can tell you is I know we're fully in balance, so I don't have any concerns about our final numbers as far as like how everything's fitting together. I just am going to need to review the detail to get you that information.
And an additional question that I've already asked, and she's gonna be looking at more, is like our motor vehicle taxes that we collected on the local went down from 3 million range down to 800,000, but on the county range, it stayed pretty flat. So there's probably something in how that report's coming off, so.
I
Be
think
good to
so.
see.
I mean, because I saw what you were seeing, we discussed this earlier. What's happening is that we had 3 million budgeted on the vehicle. That's what you're referring to, right?
Yeah, the local motor vehicle tax.
So we had 3 million budgeted, 800K received.
Mhm.
All in all, though, our county numbers are correct. So we might just be presenting this in a different format that we did last year. Just have to dive further into that.
Okay.
But the totals are correct.
My question, and we talked a little bit about it ahead of the meeting, but I just want to bring it up to the board and Dr. Libby and get his perspective as well. So I totally understand conservatism. I try to be conservative, but first of all, we were able to bring our expenditures back to a level that we had in 2022, 23. So we spent $75 million that year. And then last year we spent 82 million, and this year we spent 79. So it settled down, which is impressive. And I think it's commendable to how the district's running. But my question is, so last year we budgeted to spend, we budgeted to spend $92 million. We spent 79. So we were way off, in the best way though. But I don't know why we perpetuate it by budgeting again for $91 million.
Yeah.
So if, Dr. Libby, if you could enlighten me, why would we budget a shortfall when we know we can operate at 79 million, but we're budgeting for 89 million? which is 91 million, which is 2 million over what we expect to bring in. I just don't understand that concept.
I can clarify with some of these numbers if
Okay.
you want me to start.
Throw them around, but
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, your logic is correct. Like you're wondering if we have that many expenditures last year and we only used 77% of the budget, why are we budgeting a similar amount? I think that the numbers that you're looking at aren't quite right, unfortunately. So I think they're probably coming from parts of the budget and we're not getting the full scope when we're comparing those numbers. So last year we brought in $83.9 million into general fund
Okay.
and we spent $79.6 million in general fund. Those are just general fund numbers only. So when we're looking at the year to date, sorry, let me pull it. Let me.
I'm taking most of this information from page 1, just the summary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which says that it's all general fund. Those first 2 paragraphs say
Mhm.
so I'm assuming they're apples to apples there.
Yeah,
Are they
they
not?
are. It's just that what you're comparing to is the number that we had listed in the prior budget book. What the numbers that I'm telling you are the actual. So when we take the year-to-date expended and the final adjusted budget, all in all, we were able to decrease our total budgeted amount by $11.2 million. Which that in conjunction with the changes that we're making, there's a few things driving that number still being so high, being like approximately 91 million, whereas our total budgeted amount in prior year was 101 million. So the things that are driving those decreases, but still keeping that higher than you're concerned it maybe should be, is staffing. So we're utilizing more of the general fund money to lower classroom sizes and increase staffing in fiscal year 2025, which is of course going to help the district meet hopefully all of its goals. But that is a driver of that number staying maybe a little higher than you think. And of course, like you mentioned earlier, we have to keep in mind that we need to be conservative. Expenditures are always over budgeted to a certain degree, just because we never want to understate that. So while you're thinking an 11.2 million decrease year over year is not enough, we think it's closest to most accurate that we can get it. Obviously, we can hope that expenditures come in lower than that, but we didn't feel like we could decrease expenditures anymore without it being unreasonable.
Well, so my question is though, and so maybe these numbers aren't right on page 1, maybe the year to date was taken before the year ended, or is that?
No, they're correct. It's just comparing to its prior year. That's where we're getting tripped up.
And that's what I'm saying. If we spend 82 million in 23-24, and we spend 79 million in 24-25, do we have some sort of data that says we're going to spend $10 million more? Is there something big on the horizon that we're going to hire that many teachers? Do we have some big expenses or capital things coming up, or are we just being really conservative?
Well, unfortunately, like the way that you're looking at it makes sense, but the way that we have to budget is so much more complicated than that. There are so many things that go into this. So when we're talking about this, we're talking insurance, payroll, everything in general fund that's included in there. So it's hard to break down and say it's just this one thing. What we do is we individually look at all the expenses and come up with what we think is the most accurate. And that landed at our total number. So I see what you're saying as in, well, what is driving that $11 million decrease? And the answer is primarily related to staffing.
That's a lot of staff. I guess it seems like we ran good, which, and maybe there's some anomalies that made us run good.
Yeah.
And I get that. Sometimes you have a really great year and
Mhm.
nothing goes bad. But I just don't know what we see that means it's gonna be that much worse next year. Why are we budgeting for a shortfall?
And I don't necessarily think it will be. I think what we've done this year is we've tried to keep our numbers a little bit more realistic as to what we're actually spending and what we're actually gaining as revenue. We've noticed as we've gone through is we've found some spaces and places where numbers have been budgeted a little bit higher than what we would project or what consistently could be seen moving forward. And as that happens from year to year, those numbers continue to grow and get further apart. So what we did is we really stopped and take a look at, okay, so what do we actually have coming in and what are we actually spending? So when you see some of these numbers where there's a significant difference in one year to the next, it's probably because what we've done is we've actually looked at what we're actually spending and what we actually have instead of going off of estimates or percentage increases to budgets that were increases to budget revenue and then also increases to budget expenditures. So what we've done is we've kind of brought everything back together to say, so what are our real numbers and how do those actually function? How do those actually look? So we removed a little bit more of the gap that's put in between padding some of the numbers for expenditures and padding some of the numbers for revenue. So we just decreased it.
Would it be better if we, at the very least, didn't budget for a shortfall? Like, why don't we budget to our expected, like we're expected revenue is 89 million. We know we ran short last year, or we ran under last year. Wouldn't it be more fiscally responsible for us to budget at the 89 million and not budget for a shortfall? It just doesn't seem like we haven't been showing shortfalls, so why do we budget for one?
Are you
Don't
talking
understand
about in the cash reserve? Or are you talking about in general fund?
I'm just talking about a general fund, the last couple of years, at least the reporting years, that we've spent less than we brought in.
Mhm.
2 years in a row.
Mhm.
Then again, in both those years, we budgeted for a shortfall, so that didn't come true.
Correct.
So why don't we budget spot on? Why do we keep budgeting for a shortfall when 2 years in a row we haven't hit that? So to just signal that we're not looking to have a shortfall.
Gotcha. Great
Yeah.
question. So why are we continuing to budget so like we're going to turn up in the red?
Right, yeah.
Gotcha. So currently what we're doing is we've reduced those gaps that have been reported previously as to how far that shortfall will be. And as we continue to get more comfortable with the numbers that were left with us and as Mr. Gonzalez comes in, we'll start tightening those up even further so that we're more accurate as we move forward. I think previously they would report, I think $4 million for shortfalls.
Mhm.
And amazingly enough, we'd always start at the beginning of the year and we were fine. So there's cash reserves to cover.
Yeah,
So what we're looking at is we're just trying to continue
Tighten
to get that back down to what that realistic number is.
I think that would be a good signal to the community that we're trying to live within our means. And maybe that was used before to try to, I mean, the narrative is right that education is trying to get cut. We want to fight for all the funding we can get. But I don't think we should prepare a budget that scares people into thinking we're gonna run out of money.
No, and I don't think that's the reason for doing this. I think this was as close as we could get. And with the increases to staffing that we've already put into place with interventionists, with increases to class sizes or increases to staffing K-12, reducing class sizes across the board, we're not representing that to anyone that we're going to be in this fashion. What we're recognizing is that when folks were saying, hey, we're going to come up short, and we start asking the question because we can see the numbers and say how.
Yeah.
We're trying to get a little bit closer to where folks were trying to say this is the how we were going to occur. And we're just not seeing the same numbers. So as we continue to move forward, we'll continue to modify and adjust to make sure that those numbers are closer and closer so that there's zeros across the board.
Yeah, so again, I want to commend the district on spending less than you brought in. That's totally the commendation. And I hope the next year we're sitting at the table that we can, unless there's a good reason to not budget for a shortfall next year. Like let's budget for what we think we're gonna bring in. Unless we can see something in either decreased expense or income or increased expenses. I think that'd be a good signal for this board to go back to budgeting what we're bringing in.
Yep, absolutely. And again, I think it was originally identified that much of your money comes from your ADMs. So as long as we don't have a really short number of incoming kindergartners when we had a larger graduating senior class, we should be able to tighten that up quite a bit.
Yeah, I saw we're estimating for a decrease in 108 ADMs.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Yep.
that seems about right.
Yep.
Makes sense.
That's $1 million.
Well, another thing I want to add is that we are thrilled that in previous years, they've had that amount being 10 million of what the general fund will have to cover of the budget deficit in general fund. That, like you said, that hasn't been the case, but right now in our budget, it's down to 1 million something. So that is, we're absolutely thrilled about that we were able to get expenses more accurate to actual. And what we would never want to happen is to tell you guys, we're not going to have to use any extra cash reserves. We're not going to have to use any general fund money at all. And then we come back in 2 months and we say, we need $2 million of general fund money. That would be a horrible surprise for you guys and the community.
But that's why we have reserves and we have the ability to adjust our budget.
We do,
midstream,
but
so I really want
This
to get
is
it
the
right.
simplest way to give us the flexibility to allow us to do those things. And then you guys are in the loop as well.
But whatever, Dr. Levy, whatever you and your team did to spend 5 million less than last year, awesome.
Well, I can take credit for a lot of it because I think a lot of it was we were missing some hires. And unfortunately, we're not going to have hopefully that same gap because we're trying to fill every position that we have. So.
Okay, great. Any other questions?
I had one question on the general or on the capital projects fund, and this is probably more for Dan. Our facilities acquisition and construction last year was 1.825 million. I'm guessing that's from Desert View. And then this next year, we're anticipating just shy of 6 million. Are we anticipating that North Park is that much more? Or do we have even more projects that are on there?
You're asking under,
This is
Capital
under the
projects.
budget summary for the capital projects fund.
and it's facilities acquisition and construction line, right?
Yes, it's
The
13,
5.9 million.
the 5,000 one. It's, last year's was 1.825 million.
Yeah.
And this next year it's a very specific number, so I'm guessing it's for something. I'm just curious if that one is that much more expensive for what we're doing to North Park than what we've done to Desert View, because Desert View was extensive. So I'm just curious. I mean, we're talking a fair amount more money.
Well, there's flexibility in this. I mean, if you look at the totals at the bottom, the expenditures that we have budgeted last year is 31 mil and this year's 32 mil. So really like in line with what we've spent before. It's just that we have 5.9 million this year, just stuck under facilities acquisition and construction, and we'll have flexibility under
So it's not that we're
where that goes.
necessarily anticipating that for sure. It's not like our current construction projects are slated for that.
You're correct.
Okay, that's what I'm
Yeah.
looking for, is that we're going that much more. And I've been to those schools and we pretty much gutted Desert View. I mean, there was not much left. And for there to be 4 million more, I'm like, man, what are we doing to North Park at that point? I mean, we couldn't do much more than what we did to Desert View. So that's why I was asking.
Yeah. So what we're doing with capital projects is we rolled all of their existing projects from prior years. We always do that so that they can maintain their structure for state reports. So we take all of those balances, and then the difference is basically a plug between revenue and expenditures, and then that's how much they can spend. So exactly like you're saying, we have flexibility in that 5.9 million. Okay, any other questions? Great, thank you guys very much.
Okay, so I believe that moves us to public comment regarding the public hearing itself. just to say, we didn't have anyone that did a written public comment for this part of the public hearing, but it looks like we do have a public comment here, so.
My name is Sherelle O'Driscoll, and I'm a parent. Just sitting here in the audience right now and really listening to your word salad of explanations, not saying it isn't, but like to learn in terms, like that's a lot, what you just gave us and the information that you just asked and you just asked. And on page 29, if you're asking for exact money on this 6 mil county tax, the motor vehicle tax and that, and you're not getting in a direct answer and exact totals on what you want, and we're supposed to have this and this public meeting tonight, and you're gonna approve it when you don't have your exact answers? Is that how this conversation kind of just went down that I watched? I'm just asking, how can we go forward and approve a budget when you're asking questions and she doesn't have all the information to give to you? And at what time does she have to get it back to you by the time that all this is due? Pushing everything to the minute like we do all the time is gonna come back and kick us in the butt. So I'm just asking, how do you pass such a questionable budget when you don't have the pertinent information? Thank you.
Any further public comment? Any further public comment? Okay, so I believe that leads us to closing the public hearing and reconvening the public or the board meeting. Do I have an approval to do so? Sorry, a motion. Sorry, yep, Mr. Sorensen just moved. Do we have a second? Okay, a second by Mr. Seppi. Sorry, Dr. Seppi. Do we have, or all in favor say aye? Aye. Yes, great. Any opposed? Okay, so then we will, or that will pass, and we will move on to our public comment for the general board meeting itself. We had written public comment that was submitted. It's attached to the agenda if anyone wants to be able to review that. And then I would also just like to go over, I think, maybe the guidelines for public comment. Thank you for attending today's board meeting and for your ongoing engagement with the district. As we move into the public comment portion, we kindly ask that each speaker limit their comments to one opportunity. If you have already submitted written comments, we kindly request that you refrain from addressing the board again on the same topic. All written comments will be posted in the written public comment section of the agenda for review by all attendees, including trustees. If you have a concern regarding a district employee, please know that in order to protect privacy and ensure due process, such matters will be addressed in a closed session. We encourage you to utilize the district's official complaint process, which can be found in the district's website, along with the necessary forms. If you are unable to finish your comments within the allotted 3 minutes, we invite you to submit the remainder in writing to the superintendent or board chair. These submissions will be shared with all board members after the meeting, and we will receive a response in the same manner as a public comment itself. With that, as I already said, written public comment has been submitted. That is attached there too. Do we do public comment first or response? Okay. Do we have anyone here that wants to give a public comment in regards to our general board meeting?
Okay. Good evening, members of the board. I was going to say Chair Wright, but it's Schumacher and Superintendent Libby. My name is Sherelle O'Driscoll, and I come tonight as a parent to follow up information I have previously asked on Don't Ever Stop, the consulting firm. We have paid them $106,000 since January of 2025 and almost $600,000 since 2022. I have emails which I have requested the correspondence also be given to you as board members so you are in the loop. I hope this has happened so you are up to speed on the responses I was given from Mrs. Bolton in November of 2024. She states consultants like Don't Ever Stop provide professional development and support, and their work is consistent with state guidelines. We believe that the overall impact on accountability within the district is positive, and we continue to see both progress in administration and teaching. Of course, there are always individuals in any industry. When held accountable, it is often met with resistance. She also says they are there to mentor our leadership, and with that, they will assist in action steps, PD, or participation in initiatives the principal is implementing to better their staff and students. There are multiple consultants, actions, decisions, and factors that go into the outcome for student achievement and success in our school. It's never just one thing. So what exactly are the recommendations, and why am I being met with such resistance when I'm asking what they want implemented? Why is it so hard to just do the right thing and follow through? Jody Gardner is quoted from June of 2024 saying, "You just need to request them for a presentation as board members." Where are we with this? The amount of money we have spent to them is substantial, and I would like to know exactly what we're paying for and how long are we going to keep them on the payroll? As the public, we are asking for accountability on your end as the board to please follow up when people ask questions. Speaking of accountability, where are we on a staff social media policy? There is no possible way this hasn't been asked in recent events. Where are we on our district cell phone policy? We start school next month. In the last executive session, it states you're looking at Libby's contract, and then we know if you choose to renew, or how will we know when you choose to renew? Will he have to present on his accomplishments so far, or what he has planned, etc.? On what basis are we renewing, and what is the criteria? Because as I stand here tonight, as I have tried to work with everybody, I have gone to meetings, I do think that we can make a change. But right now, I don't feel that we are better than we were before, and I sadly do not recommend that we renew your contract. Thank you.
Do we have further public comment?
Good evening, Dr. Libby and board members. I'm here again tonight because the district continues to deny me access to my son Jordan's educational records. Let me be absolutely clear. FERPA does not apply after a student's death. I handed you his celebration of life paper. I want you to go ahead and take a look at his face. He is no longer here. I am his voice. This is not my interpretation. It's the official position of the U.S. Department of Education. Therefore, no federal law prohibits you from releasing my son's records to me. Is there a Wyoming state law or district policy that supports this continued denial? I'm again requesting that it be publicly named and cited. I have submitted multiple requests. If no such law exists, then withholding of Jordan's records is a discretionary decision, not a legal one. Continue to claim that FERPA won't allow it is misleading and wrong. You cannot claim to protect my son's privacy rights because he no longer has privacy rights under FERPA. And for the district to say this is about respect while refusing to release the records that tell his story, that is deeply hurtful and hypocritical. Where was the respect when Jordan was pinned down on a school bus by another student who tried to put fingers in his butt? Because there was no penetration through the clothing, the district determined that it was not severe or pervasive. Enough for a Title IX violation? No, it's not severe enough. Then what is? Let's stop hiding behind vague policies and start showing transparency. I'm also asking the district to account for taxpayer money. How much money has been spent on legal fees to block me from accessing Jordan's records? How much money has gone to outside legal counsel for defending this and other student safety violations? This is about accountability, compassion, and priorities. Every other institution, including Western Wyoming, which is also FERPA, has honored my requests. This district stands alone in its refusal, and that raises serious questions. Dr. Libby, at the last board meeting, you suggested that parents can remain in control after a student turns 18 if they want to live under the parent's roof, that the parents would make the student sign a FERPA release. You've also failed to mention that FERPA guidelines when the student is dead don't apply. You didn't tell the truth. You tried to deflect and spin it. So instead of why not, I'm asking why. And if this process is so routine and well practiced, How many students signed a FERPA release last year? Who facilitated the process? What does the form look like? Where are the forms stored? Where can the public access a copy? What is the new FERPA training you sent out last week to staff? How many trainings are offered per year for FERPA? Are all staff required to complete them? Do we share that data? And finally, if Jordan didn't sign a release, why was the district still sending me information after he turned 18? This wasn't an isolated incident. You should investigate that. Let me be clear. You do not get to speculate about my relationship with my son. You do not get to protect your idea of parenting choices onto my family. You do not know our conversations, but I do. Jordan would have given me access to his records. He knew I had his back. He knew I'd hold the district accountable when no one else did. You failed him. So tonight I'm asking one last time, do the right thing, release Jordan's records, honor him, be transparent with his community, and make change happen. Our students deserve better.
Do we have further public comment? I'll ask one last time. Further public comment? Okay, so I believe that brings us to the consent agenda. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You're right. The responses. I don't know that we have any responses from last month, though, do we? Dr. Libby, if you want to elaborate there.
No, ma'am, we don't. The responses from last month were around concealed carry policy, and I've already reached out to those folks.
Thank you. Okay, so now we will move to the consent agenda where we're looking at item 8, subsection A through J. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Really, no. Huh? I'd like to pick something out if we can.
You want to place a hold on an item? Which one?
On the budget.
On the budget?
Yeah.
On item F. Okay, what about A through E, and then it would be G through J? Do we have a motion to approve those items on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay,
No discussion.
yep, well, and I think with the hold item, we do have to discuss that item, is that correct?
There's stuff in the other one that I want discussion on, because there should be still some discussion on the other end piece of it, right? Then we need to have another one removed. I just have questions on human resources, approval of human or approval of personnel recommendations. If we can remove that one then. I was
Okay.
just trying to-
So we're going to place a hold on item line AF and AI. Which then, of course, with the motion to approve, we would be looking at items 8A through E, 8GH, and 8J. Do I have a motion to approve those items?
So moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second that.
Okay, and then we need to discuss the line item F and I. Mr. Sorensen, do you have?
First?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. I think Ms. O'Driscoll's comment is very well received. I just wanted to comment towards it. So there's a lot of challenges in budgeting for school districts. I'm learning as we go. As far as we have certain deadlines that we have to meet, but the state doesn't give us our information fast enough, and it makes it really hard. And I do want to commend Fiona for filling in as in the lack of a CFO currently, and I think that was a big challenge and a big thing to throw at her. I feel really good about the budget. Looking at it, I know I have my concerns I shared, but I do like the direction we're going and the way we're spending the resources that we're entrusted with towards the students of our district, and that's why I feel comfortable approving the budget, knowing that we do have the opportunity to adjust budgets as we go. And that way we can meet our requirements that we're supposed to accomplish. So that would be my comment to that. And I think it was a great comment you brought up.
And same, I do think that being in the general public, it makes sense to ask the questions, especially the one that you asked. I think Mr. Sorensen makes a good point. We are within a timeline. We do have to essentially be able to vote and have a certain approval of a budget by a certain date as far as that goes. And then, of course, like he said, it's not like we have all of our information all the time, every day of the minute, as far as that goes. And so I do think that there has to be some consideration with that. The other part with it too, and as I would just want to emphasize, is this is something that we can amend as necessary and things of that nature. And so that does change the dynamic when we are voting on a budget, because we know, one, the school district is doing their part in informing us when and if those changes need to be made, but two, we have the ability to do so. So that was just something that I think is important to be able to point out when it comes down to it. Thank you. Any other comments in regards to line item F? Okay, how about I?
So this
We
is-
need to, sorry. I was
Vote
just
on-
informed, we got to vote on F first. So do we want to include that, a motion to approve line item F along with the others? I have a motion. Okay. Do we have a second? Okay, Mr. Gardner will second that. And now we can, oh wait, do we have all in favor? Say aye. Okay.
All right.
Any opposed? Okay, now I think we can move on to the line item I for Dr. Seppi.
Okay, I just have a couple questions. We talked about that we're increasing our staffing as part of our amount. The vacancy notice we have is 49. Do we have a number on how many people we've added? I'm just curious.
They confirmed it for me. So it's 62 teachers.
So we've added 62
Yes.
certified teachers.
Correct.
Okay. Do we know where we were at on our vacancy notice last year? I'm just looking at our vacancy notice now, like we have a projected reduction in students by 108. We're saying we added 62 teachers, but we still have 49 unfilled vacancy notices. I'm just,
Correct.
where are we at? Because if we added 62 plus this 49, we're like 100 and something?
Yeah, the replacements.
So the 62 includes our retirements, our resignations.
Okay.
So these are new faces to the district.
So 62 new ones?
Yes. So
Okay.
those are, if we have resignations, we have
Okay, sounds good.
retirements, new positions have been posted. Those would be new hires, additional hires to the district.
Okay,
So it's
sounds good.
added-
It's not 62 new positions,
No,
it's
no, no.
62 new people.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I'm looking for. How many new positions do we have?
Because of the reduction of class sizes, et cetera.
Yeah, I'm just curious, as of
Um,
like last year, how many certified staff we had to how many we have this year? Because if we're saying that we're increasing our budget, we should have had theoretically more, hopefully.
I think that's a great question. I would have to go back to last year at this time. I don't have that information in front of me. I'd have to go back and get that. I can't remember the
Okay.
number. I think that we're kind of comparing apples to oranges though, in that sense, just because we were able to reduce class sizes. And that didn't occur last year and we were able to do that for this upcoming year. But I don't have that information.
I'm just
in front
looking
of
for
me.
numbers,
Yeah.
like, we
I
had
can
to
get
have
that
a
to you.
number of actual certified staff last year and an actual number right now.
I can
That's what I'm
get
looking
that
for.
to you
Not
when
per
I sit
student.
down.
I'm looking for, if we're increasing a budget, how many are we getting for our number?
I can get that to you before
Thank
the
you.
end of the meeting.
I appreciate that. Last one I have another question for this one. I have two. We're hiring a math teacher position, I believe. Does that take away one of the math teachers we're missing on our current vacancy notice? So we'll be down to one. Does that get us to 8? Because in previous meetings, I questioned their new process and they said that they needed 8 certified math teachers and 8 certified English teachers to do the power hour at the high school. And I'm just curious, are we at our 8? Because we're not hiring any English teachers.
So we don't close these positions until tomorrow morning after you guys approve all of the positions. And so would that take us from, if we're hiring a math teacher at the high school,
Uh-huh.
does that get us to the 8?
Yeah,
Is that
I'm
what your
curious
question-
because
Yes.
it shows that we're missing two. That theoretically, if we accept this one, that would take it to one missing one.
Correct.
I'm just curious, does that take us to, would we have 7 at that point?
7 certified math
Certified
teachers.
math teachers at the high
Correct.
school. And we have 8 English teachers, certified math, or English teachers at the high school?
So in there on the, sorry, I have the wrong paper. Are there any openings on that?
There
sheet
are
that you're
not.
looking at? Then we're to where we need to be.
Okay. All right.
So may I ask, and this may be a dumb question, so the 62 positions that have been filled, correct? Are they all full-time or is this subs and full-time, I guess, is the question that I have, like substitute?
They're hires. So they wouldn't include their hires,
So please explain that to me.
full-time certified
Okay,
teachers.
thank you.
Okay. Last question I have, and I think this probably goes to Dr. DeLibby's thing. We had talked about last meeting that there was one person that rescinded their offer, and it was an abnormality. That they had gotten a job, their spouse had gotten a job somewhere else, and so they had to rescind their offer, and it was the abnormality. And now this time, we got another one. So I'm just curious, abnormalities are starting to come a little frequently.
Sure. So I can speak to the one from the last board meeting because we were able to talk to that husband and wife team. They really did want to come here. They weren't able to find housing. And so actually, as the time that the husband was calling and say, can I actually rescind that offer and can you hire me still? The wife wasn't able to get out of her contract. And so they had to accept the job in a different place. So that one I had contact with. I can speak very, very freely about that with 100% accuracy. I'm not sure of the one that you're speaking about this month.
Number 2 on our thing, a preschool teacher at Overland Elementary.
That had to rescind.
That's what it says.
Yeah.
Preschool teacher of Overland Elementary Child Learning Program has rescinded her offer effective immediately.
Yes, she did accept a job in a different place.
Do we have any reason why?
She did not provide a reason why.
Okay. That's it.
Okay,
Sorry.
I was
Sorry.
good. I just paying
Sorry,
up and down, up and
I don't
down.
understand.
Okay.
Any other comments in regards to line item I?
Yeah, can we shine some light on, do we have more active interviews going? Is this gonna be a longer list next meeting since we read for this? I guess maybe that's what Cole's asking. You would have thought this would have been more than 2 or 3 line items. Yeah.
So our principals have been working very hard throughout the summer there and having some interview teams come together. But that will pick back up when they come, in a week and a half, our principals are back and that will pick back up.
So
But they
next-
have been interviewing during the summer.
So next meeting, we should expect to see more
Correct.
hires.
Yep, as of now, I know that 5 that I have pushed through that will take our numbers back down for the next board meeting that will be off of there. After you guys approve this tonight, we'll update that tomorrow morning.
I have one more question on top of that. Sorry, this just brought something to mind. I was questioned by a member of our district about interviews after certain time frames, and that after a certain time frame that they're kind of locked into having to be in this contract. Like you had said that other person was not allowed out of their contract. How are we getting more people? If I would imagine other districts are trying to lock people in as well.
Yep, so from the state, right, from the rules and regs, after May 15th, we can hold a person's license, a staff member's license, if we can't find a suitable replacement. Typically, there are, we try and listen to that and we will release that. The deadline that I believe that you're talking about is just within our district, and we set a May 5th deadline within our principals so that they're not stealing from somebody else. That makes it a little bit easier. So all of that means is that the principal has to talk to the other principal. So if I'm wanting to apply in a different building, then my current principal needs to talk to the principal that I'm wanting to apply for, and they have to agree for me to have that interview.
And before that, they don't have that, right?
Correct.
And then you said that there was something in the state regulations for another date. I didn't hear.
Yeah, May 15th.
May 15th.
Yep.
After that, theoretically, we can hold them to their contract, May 15th.
Correct.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Yep.
Is there further comment or questions? No? Okay. So do we have a motion to approve 8I? All in favor?
Aye.
So based off that, we have a motion to approve the consent agenda, which is line item 8A through J. No further discussion is needed, and it all passes, correct? Okay, just making sure I'm doing that right. We are now moving on to transportation bus routes for the 2025-2026 school year. That has an attachment there. It shows the different routes to and from school. And I believe we need an approval for those routes. Do I have a motion to do so?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay. Do we have any discussion on that?
Sorry.
Dr.
Me
Seppi?
again. I have a question. I don't know if I was not anticipating something. So this came out in some stuff that had come out this week. So our freshman class, they're all being bused to the main campus. Then we're moving them from the main campus to the satellite campus. Is that correct?
I believe Ms. Knezovich can give us some answers to that.
I appreciate it. What I was originally anticipating and what I thought came out wasn't what I thought. So that's where I'm asking.
I'm Rochelle. I'm the Assistant Director for the Transportation Department. And what our plan is so half the kids will be going to the satellite and half will be going to the high school.
Correct.
What we anticipate, what we are going to do is this side of town would be a walk-in, but since we already have busing, they can get on a bus and go get a ride to school. So they'd be able to go drop off the high school. And there's a difference in the time frame to when we can drop off and get them to the satellite on time without it interfering with any educational time.
Okay.
So that is our plan.
So where is our cutoff spot? Because you said this side of town is a walk-in spot. That
It would be a
They could go
walk-in.
straight to the satellite is what you're
Yes,
saying,
it
if that's
would,
where they
but
start.
because we already have busing, they would just hop on the regular high school buses is what they would do.
Gotcha.
Because we already have stops out there and everything else. So they would just get on their regular bus route that they would go if they were going to the high school. They would stay on their bus when they dropped off the kids. Those buses would continue up to the satellite and drop off at the satellite.
And did we have to increase or start picking those kids up earlier? I'm just
Nope,
curious.
it's because it's a high school time. They will all be at the same time. So they'll get picked up with the regular high school routes.
Okay, so the extra 10 minutes, how are we adjusting for that? I'm just curious because in your bus route, it shows that they're ending up at the high school at 7:40. Then we're gonna have them get to the satellite at 7:50. What time does school start?
At the high school? Does it start at 8?
Secondaries. 8:05, 8:10.
8:05. And so like last year, our buses for the high school were getting there at 7:40?
Yeah, or 7:40, 7:45.
Okay, I had questions about this and what I thought I anticipated was not what I anticipated. I
So we-
figured that there was gonna be a separate busing system to get them straight to the satellite and I was incorrect. So that's why I'm trying to get some information.
And this is all a trial and error, and we're trying to prevent a lot of traffic over in that area since we have so many schools there. So by picking up the kids on this side as well and having them drive the route is hopefully to eliminate parent drop-offs over in that area to kind of cut down the traffic that we already have over there.
Okay. And then at the end of the day, I have a question for that one. So if our kid, so have a freshman that ends at the satellite over here, are we sending them 10 minutes early from the end of the day so that they can meet the kids leaving the school at the
No,
high school?
we'll have buses that are over there that will pick up all the satellite kids and transfer them over to the high school, and then they will just get off the bus and get on their normal bus to go home.
So are they just holding those buses? I'm just looking for time frame. Are
It's
we
different.
cutting into
It'll be
educational
different
time
buses
in
that-
order to get them there?
It'll be different buses that go over to the satellite to pick up kids to take them back to the high school.
I
So
get that.
There's
And
not
what I'm
gonna be, there's not gonna be much time. We do this with Blackview now. So we we already do this with the Black Butte. So we go and pick up the Black Butte kids and then we transport them over to the high school and then they get on a bus. They get on their bus that goes home.
Okay.
If they're not already on the bus that takes them home.
And so we're not having to leave Black Butte nor the satellite early to get
No.
them to the high school, correct?
Not that I'm aware
Okay.
of, no.
All right. That was my question. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
In Dr. Seppi, earlier on, we talked about having some hubs where we could pick up and locate, and they're still working through that process to see if there's some capabilities of still having hubs in locations where kids can get dropped off a little bit closer to home instead of maybe having to go all the way back to the high school as the initial transition point.
And that was kind of my question because I don't have a freshman. She's a sophomore this coming year.
Right.
But we live over here.
Mhm.
If she were to ride a bus,
She's still going to the high school.
then that was my thought, that it was, why are we sending her completely to the high school to then have to bring her back all the way over here? And that's where I was, and I'm not saying that I have the answer to this,
No,
because
and that's
that's a
why-
very logistically difficult deal, but that's also kind of what we signed up for.
Yep.
When we made this process, so I was just seeing what
Absolutely.
it was.
Yep, they're still looking at the potential of having hubs that are closer. So if your daughter was a ninth grader and she lives over here and she was in 2 miles, technically she could just walk to the satellite if she started there that day. So we're Mr. Bustinelli is still working through some of those hubs to see if there's a logistical way that we can make it a little bit easier on some of the transportation for the kids in the morning and in the afternoon.
So if those kids are starting, so I'm just going through because I get questioned on these. So say there's a kid that lives right here behind this junior high, theoretically within 2 miles of that satellite, but they're not 2 miles within the high school.
Mhm.
Does it depend on where they go first, whether they get bused?
That's why right now, because the buses are already set for this side of the school, because there is only one high school location, which is across
Okay.
town. Those buses already exist, so they just go.
So they're
So
gonna,
that's the easiest route right now.
Okay.
So the easiest way if folks, ninth graders are asking you, how do I get to school? And you live on this side of town, hop on the bus.
okay, that's what I was curious because I was, well, if they start at one, does it matter if they start at the other? Okay.
I have some follow-up with that too, real quick. You mentioned that is this the way that we do it with the Black Butte High School then? Do they normally go to the high school at the beginning of the day too and then go to Black Butte?
That's my understanding is the high school has been
So
the
it's a
hub for
system we
Black Butte.
already
It's
have
already
in
in place.
place, we've already done, it's successful at the Black Butte High School.
Correct,
And we do it to the Black Butte High School and from the Black Butte High School.
correct.
Okay, I just wanted clarification to make sure that I was understanding that correctly, because it sounds like it's something that works.
Yeah, it
At
does.
least in
It
the
does.
past, it's worked.
Yep, the piece that we're trying to figure out is because we already have kids that are on this side of town, is there an easier way to get the kids on this side of town that are starting at the ninth grade center, just to go to the ninth grade center?
And that's where
That's
you're
it.
indicating, we discussed the hubs
Hubs.
earlier.
Yep, and that's
Okay.
what we're trying to work through. But currently, right now, hop the bus like you normally do. Everybody goes to high school, we'll get you where you're going.
One last question, and just to clarify, because I think Dr. Seppi was saying this, but again, this is not interfering with instructional time.
No,
And it doesn't interfere with the instructional time at Black Butte High School either.
no,
Okay, so that's not a concern for any parent.
no.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments about or discussion in regards to the transportation? No? Okay, all in favor? Is anyone opposed? Okay, I believe that passes then. We have line item 10, the health insurance premiums. Do we have,
So moved.
okay, motion to approve, second? Okay. Do we have any discussion on that one?
Yeah, I'd like to speak to it. This is awesome. How many have heard of getting reductions in your insurance premiums without changing your plan? And that's what the team has done here. It speaks a lot to Dr. Libby, noticing some opportunities and hiring some better advisors for the district, which is part of what this board has been focusing on. And I just want to commend them for working hard and bringing that price down and without causing any stress on the school district. I feel very comfortable that what we're doing here doesn't hurt. In fact, we go back and forth. I think we could hopefully do more, but they are being very cautious and conservative in their numbers, but yet still providing a 30% decrease in health insurance premiums. I mean, that should be like a newspaper, that should be the big bold print. And as well, in negotiations, teachers receive the increase in their base as well. So you get increase in the base and decrease in your health insurance premiums. I think for a family, a teacher that has spouse and kids are saving over $5,000 a year, which is back money back in their pocket, and that's awesome. And so we hope we keep running clean as a health insurance. I'm just really impressed. Want to commend you, Dr. Libby, and then Tiffany, and all you guys for all the work you guys did, and our new advisors. And it'll be interesting to see how this growth gets better in the future too. So,
Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, I believe that passes. Here we have the line item 11, we have the 2025-2026 handbooks for kindergarten through 12th grade. Do we have a motion to approve those?
so moved.
Do we have a second? Okay, discussion?
Yes, I do. Try and make this quick. I just have some questions on this. I have several areas of questions. Under student responsibilities, I'm just curious why we are getting rid of student responsibilities. I read through those. We're slashing them all. They seem rather good to have. I guess I don't understand why we're getting rid of them. It's page 2. It's like, be honest. Have a
I think that's under the Black Butte High School too, correct?
correct.
Yeah.
My understanding is I believe the section has been reworded, and that's why this has been pulled.
Okay, there's no spot that
Do you know
shows
where
that
it
it's
went?
reworded. It's just removed. There's no red side, nothing red that shows that we're adding any wording in. It's just a removal, omission.
Good question.
I believe it is supposed to be redlined underneath it.
It just says student
No.
responsibilities, and the entire section is omitted. And underneath it, it goes messages and
Yep,
deliveries.
no, I can see it. I've got it pulled up. It should be redlined underneath and reworded,
Okay,
so we can find that.
sounds good. I
Yeah.
didn't understand why we would remove student responsibilities.
Yeah. Yeah, my
Um,
understanding is that it's been reworded.
Okay, next one, the advisement program, I believe for Black Butte High School. I'm just curious as to why it is removed, seeing that the number under A, it says one of the key components of Black Butte High School is the advisement program, and we omitted the entire thing.
Yep, that's not something that I can speak to.
Do we know who can?
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say, Mr. Blake.
Is it
I just-
reworded?
When it says it's a key component, I'm just curious.
Right, but if it's reworded, it should be redlined.
I-
Just a second. It's not on this document.
Yeah, we're not.
So is this the wrong load? Is this the wrong document that's been uploaded? Because we're missing red line. Tiffany, is it in a Google Doc that can be shared?
Can we call Mr. Blake on the beach? Is that a visual?
I have a couple more, so while they're looking for that one, I'm happy to go to the next one. Under the Black Butte High School Credit Recovery Recapture Program, there was previously relatively some degree of guidelines as to how it worked. You had to have a 50% or greater and in good standing with attendance to be able to achieve credit recovery in any class, things of that. We then went down, omitted all that, added in a restatement that students who fail courses may be eligible for credit recovery or recapture. Credit recovery could occur during the normal school year, Friday school, or summer school. Credit recapture could take place immediately after the grades or stored for a term. These processes may be modified based upon an academic contract. One of our biggest complaints that I've received as a board member is that the credit recovery system is being arbitrarily used. And to me, this is just making it more arbitrary. Like there should be some degree of stipulation of this is how it is being used. So I'm just curious as to why we're making it more just kind of at will for whatever administrator wants to do it. I mean, I feel like if it's good for one student, it should be good for the other. And I understand that there can be some variability, and I'm not looking for huge restrictions, but at the same time, this pretty much just gives caution to the wind at this point.
I would agree. I would recommend at this time that this be held. And we can come back and readdress these. So I would pull this from the agenda and hold it.
I'll move to table this agenda item until the following board meeting, pending further investigation.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor to hold this item and not approve it at this time for the next board meeting? Say aye.
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 Yes.
All opposed? Are any opposed? Okay, so that one will be held and not approved as of tonight.
Hey, Ms. Schumacher,
Yes.
sorry, I kind of missed out on the discussion trying to unmute here, but I did want to bring up one point. I know the question was asked around the cell phone policy, and Ms. Schumacher and myself were asked around if any modifications were wanted for these student handbooks in relation to cell phones. And just tying everything together between our book study and the discussions that we had as a board, I actually believe our cell phone policy is appropriate the way it is. But we did discuss that we need to have a different level of expectation on enforcement. And so we wanted to wait and share that at the August board meeting. But to quell some of the concerns, we are moving into the new school year with a different expectation on cell phones not being allowed used in the classroom, and that the enforcement thereof will be upheld, and consequences thereof will be followed through with. So just kind of a little information, I guess, on where we're headed with the August board meeting and cell phone situation. And as you already alluded to, Ms. Schumacher, the technology policy, which is kind of the other component, that language is being proposed to be changed to May. And we expect, there should be a lot of positive feedback that parents have choices on the technology going home or not.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. And with that being said as well, I did forget about that. It was a discussion that was had. I do believe it falls within the subcommittee of engagement as well. And so that's something that Mr. Sorensen and Mr. Gardner and myself will also be discussing when we have further information to share with everyone as well. So. Okay, I believe that brings us to item 12, human resources. Where we have approval of the 2025-2026 nutrition services salary schedule. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have a discussion? Any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Okay. So that one will pass. With that, we also have the approval of the 2025-2026 Director Supervisor Salary Schedule. Do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion in regards to that schedule? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, or any opposed, I apologize. Okay, so I believe that also will pass. Line item 13, general board business. This is approval of the policy JJIF, student athlete concussions. This is something that has gone through the policy committee and has been approved through them and now is here for the board to approve as well. Do I have a motion to approve that policy?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion on that one? Any discussion? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that policy will pass. We have line item 14 with board information in regards to the Head Start notice of award letter for the Head Start grant for 2025-2026 school year. Is there anything to actually report on that one? Okay. And then, of course, we also have the new business in line item 15, A and B. A being the vacancy notice as of July 16, 2025. And do we have any comment on that at all? No. How about line item B of that, where we have the July 2025 Head Start Governing Board and Policy Council monthly report as well? That's just new business. With that, I believe it's time to move into executive session. And so can I get a motion to do so?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Say
Aye.
aye. Any opposed?
No decisions.
Oh, yes, there won't be any decisions when we come back. Yes, so we will just come back and be able to hopefully adjourn. No issues. Oh, thanks.
Once the door's locked.
Yeah, I think I've got his number.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
only good part of the job.
So you guys did do them, so we are doing.
I don't know. I got the.
I think we're telling you that we're, yeah, we're supposed to do this thing, I'm like, that seems suspicious.
Just send them all.
That's why I think one of those releases, that's why this thing was like, you're past due on this stuff, I'm like, I'm not past due on anything. That's what I figured, if I really screwed it up, somebody's gonna call me and say, hey, you should do that.
I definitely needed it today on like the line. I should have done that. Not the long. Oh, that would overdue. Yes, I think that too. I need to find a good massage person. Yeah, I know.
Do you have a bunch of applications? Yes. Oh, yeah.